What is going on, guys? Horizon here, and today we are going to be discussing one of the most dangerous things in Rocket League: your bad habits. These are things that happen without a whole lot of thought when we kind of find ourselves going on autopilot, and they can be especially common when you find yourself in a high-pressure situation. These are the kinds of mistakes that really cause us to scratch our head when we look back at them, because we kind of just ask ourselves, why would I do what I just did there? And the answer is normally, I have no idea, because that was incredibly stupid. So today we'll be taking a deep dive into 5 very common habits, and we'll be discussing the thought process that you should be going through to avoid these in the future. So we're going to start off right here with an extremely common one involving grabbing big boosts. So you can see right off the rip here as this clip starts, we only have 9 boosts as we rotate onto our own backboard here, so we're already in a bit of an awkward spot. Now, as we roll this forward, we're going to play some fine defense off the backboard. Teammate's going to come through and collide with us, but not the end of the world. We're still on this 9 boost. We got 1 pad here, and then use all of that to move up the field to grab this pad. Now, if I freeze it right here, what we see is we have 3 pads right in front of us. We have this pad here, we have this pad here, and then there's this pad over here. When it comes to picking up boost on the field, the question we always have to ask ourselves is there an effective path of pads I can take that allows me to get enough boost to make a play while also staying fully involved? So then, looking at how the play is developing, we have Sprinkle here, who has just gotten a clear out to his corner where he is going to be able to pick up full boost, and we have no full boost to work with here. So there's really no point for us to go over here to the left side of the field, because we're only going to have 1 extra pad to work with, and they're going to have full control of the ball on the corner wall with an opportunity to air dribble entirely down the field while we are fairly starved of boost. So what we need to figure out very quickly here is how can we get as much boost as possible while keeping ourselves in the most effective position possible. And in this case, with the ball inevitably working its way down the field, our best option is to go here, here, and then over to here. Just get these 3 pads, swing back into the middle of the field. Now we have our net covered while we wait for our teammates to rotate back, and we have coverage on any possible attack coming through from our opponents. But this wouldn't be a bad habit if we actually did that, because no, instead of going the smart way there to the right, we go out to the left looking for this full boost, and of course, it's not there. Now, in the meantime, our teammate has also gotten demoned, which means we now have to buy even more time to allow our teammate to respawn and get back in the play. So the fact that we're even lower on boost at this point is even more dangerous. Now, let's just imagine if we had gone this way, because we'd be around here right now. We would have this boost, so we'd be up to like 36 or so. And now we can just be back over here, and look at how easy this angle is from over here to just watch this air dribble. We have 48 boost now. We're just pathing down the middle of the field. We have this fully covered. If he gets a reset, we're going to have some problems, but we at least have a chance. We have plenty of boost to work with, and we're able to jump up and make a play on this ball. Instead, we're over here with 24, flat-footed, kind of underneath the ball without a great angle to play with, and when we jump, we simply don't have the boost to stay behind the ball, and they get over us very easily. So that's the danger of trying to rely on a big boost when there are small pads available that can keep you involved in the play a little bit easier. So just remember in your own moments, as he does finish that air dribble off with a goal, in your own games, it's extremely important to rely on these small pads as much as possible, because they are the ones that will keep you in better positions. They are the ones that will give you enough boost to make a play, and they respawn a heck of a lot faster than the big boosts. So much easier to rely on the small pads as opposed to the big ones. Moving on to the next kickoff, this match was played in comms, so my teammate and I had come up with a decent kickoff strat here that we execute just about perfectly, and then it kind of fizzles out, it would seem. And I remember this moment in comms, and for reference, this was Game 7 of a lower bracket final for a 2v2 league that we were playing in, so definitely a lot of pressure on this situation. But if we look at this, when this ball comes off, we have this entire team clean beat. I'm already going supersonic. Now, in most cases, we look at this and go, well, that's a wide open net. That's a ball rolling right in front of you. Just like swing, grab this pad, and then shoot the ball into this near post, and bing bada boom, you got yourself back in a tie game. However, another bad habit that a lot of players can develop, and that I see fairly often when I run my coaching sessions, is players simply not trusting themselves to make the plays and the touches that they know they can make. So in most cases, we would very confidently just strike this ball towards the net, and hey, if we miss, we miss, but at least we put some pressure on, force them to make a save, or at least think it might be on target, and we're making them react to us. Instead, when we just let this ball roll, first of all, we still attack it very early, even though we have all of this space to work with. Realistically, right here, we could let this ball roll to the wall, let it pass us, grab this boost, and then go up and make a play. But instead, because we miss out on this opportunity from simply not trusting ourselves, we then try to force a play into the midfield that just does absolutely nothing and hands the ball right back to our opponents. So in a situation like this, you probably ask yourselves, like, look, if you're gonna give the ball back to your opponent anyway, you might as well at least have tried to take the open shot that was available. But instead, we succumb to another bad habit where we simply don't trust ourselves to make a play that we know we're capable of making, simply for fear of giving the ball away, even though we simply give the ball away anyway. So Rocket League is a game that is all about confidence. The team that is more confident in their abilities is the one that will be willing to take the opportunities that are available to them and capitalize on them. What you're going to see throughout this is a lot of very nervous play because we simply aren't confident in what we're doing on the field, and that is a huge detriment to us. Next up, we have one of the most common bad habits in all of Rocket League, and it revolves around simply not paying attention to where everybody is on the field and getting caught out by an unnecessary challenge. So right here, we've landed with 25 boost, and our teammate is about to pick up control of this ball coming in from this side of the screen over here. We're going to go rotate and grab this boost while our teammate controls the ball, and we're just going to wait to see what happens, which is all well and good, just keeping ourselves in a supported position to see where things go. Teammate flicks the ball early. Sprinkle is going to get the challenge. Now, what happens right here is we are just staring at Sprinkle. This is where our eyes are. This is the only place our eyes are. And what happens when you tunnel vision on where the ball is you lose sight of the actual threat in the play. Because right now, Sprinkle is just floating behind the ball. He's gotten one touch to kill the ball's momentum, but it's not like he's going to easily be able to follow up on this because he's still kind of just floating in the air. So if we're just looking here, it might look like, hey, we have an opportunity to dive forward on this, to get a challenge, to keep the ball in the offensive half, which would be a fair assessment if this guy wasn't here. But since Noah is just sitting here watching this develop, and he is significantly closer to this play and is in comms with his teammate, it's super easy for Noah to call Sprinkle off here and just go for the ball himself. Now, if we're aware of that, we might be like, okay, Noah, go ahead and hit the ball. That's totally fine. I'll just wait, go for a little fake challenge here, and play the ball when it inevitably bounces off the wall here, the corner wall down the field, somewhere on this left side of the field. I'll just play off of it once it arrives there because you're pretty much giving me a free ball in the play. But instead, we're not aware of the actual threat. We're too busy tunnel visioning on the ball, and because of that, we just absolutely go hard diving forward, and you can see that we are beat to this ball by an absolute mile. And yet we still full commit, we still jump, we still commit our boost, and our teammate in this play is still upfield right in front of us. So when we dive here, if we lose this ball, it's just a wide open net the other way. And the other question you have to ask yourself in these situations is, do you even create a good opportunity for your team with what you're doing? And the answer here is, well, no, not really, because as we just mentioned, our teammate's right here. So even if we do play this ball into the corner, Sprinkle's right here, he's going to be able to turn around and go to the backboard. Our teammate might be able to rotate into the midfield, but it's not like winning this challenge is going to benefit us a whole lot. Sure, maybe we keep the ball in the offensive half, but that's about all we get out of it for the time being until we can create something else. So if that's the case, it's much better to just let Noah hit this ball and take the free ball that they're offering us. But instead, we absolutely go hard diving, completely out of the play, teammate gets demoed, and they're able to just roll the ball into the wide open net. So far in this game, we have given up 2 goals for free, and we have missed a very obvious opportunity of a goal of our own, simply because we're just not playing the smartest game we can, and not making the smartest decision that's available to us. And unfortunately for us, in this last minute 48, that is going to continue. Because right here, we're going to see another very common bad habit that I simply like to call trying to do too much. So right here, we make a smart play to just let him hit it. We get the ball for free, and up the wall we go. Okay, space, control the ball. What do we do? Well, I don't know if you saw it there, but we kind of just passed the ball to our opponents, which is a fascinating idea to go for. And it all comes from the fact that we are simply trying too hard to get the ball around Sprinkle here. Like, yes, there is a challenge coming, but he has us read here. There's really nothing that we can do from this kind of position, save for maybe, I don't know, some kind of weird ceiling pinch or something, that's really going to help us get this ball around Sprinkle with him already being on the ceiling. So instead of that, instead of flipping the ball away and trying to get around him, which then leaves us completely out of control because we are not mechanically good enough to get back to this ball and regain full possession, why don't we just take the simple play and play for the 50-50? At this point, with Noah respawning in the back corner, look at how much open space is available on the field. With the fact that Noah is so far away with all this open space, regardless of where this 50-50 goes, our teammate who's just off screen over here to the left should be able to work his way in for a relatively free ball. And now we have 1 player out of the game and only 1 left to beat, and we've set our teammate up in a 1v1 situation. But instead, we try really hard to get the ball past Sprinkle, and again, what we have to ask is, what's the point? Because even if we do get this ball past Sprinkle, it probably just goes directly to Noah in their back corner because we're not really going to be able to get back to it. So instead of trying to force this unnecessary play that's just going to leave us in a very awkward spot, why don't we just let this challenge come in and play for a 50? Maybe we can drop the ball perfectly down into the midfield for our teammate to run onto. Maybe we can play it into open space where our teammate can pick it up. Maybe we can do anything that puts ourselves in a good spot, but instead we try to force a play that's simply not there, and it ends up punishing us immediately because now we're out of the play, our teammate is left in a 1v2 situation, and that's a really bad spot to be leaving them in. So simply because of us being unwilling to take the simple 50 and the simple play that was available, we took an opportunity that could have turned into a 2v1 play for us, and gave that 2v1 opportunity directly to our opponents, which leads directly to the 3rd goal conceded. And I don't know if you're noticing a pattern so far here, but every single goal that we've given up has been preceded by a horrendous mistake based on a simple bad habit from ourselves. We're going to see one final common bad habit here, and this one is all about panicking when there's no reason to panic. So right here, we got a 50-50 coming out between our opponent and our teammate. We're on fairly low boost, but we are in a decent spot to play off of wherever this ball might go off this 50. So not bad positioning here from us. We do love to see that. The 50 comes out and the ball pinches towards our back corner. We successfully make this read. We know exactly where the ball is going. We use some boost to get back here. We even get gifted with a 100 pad right as we drive over it. And then the real question is, well, what do we do with this? Because at this point, we have a minute 18 left on the clock. We're down by 3. So right now, every possession of the ball that we get is critical. Because if we just take the ball and squander it and throw it away, we lose more time off the clock. And we're really not going to get that many more clean possessions in this last minute. So every one we get is incredibly important, and we need to do as much as possible with every single one. So right here, we drive up the wall, and you would think, okay, look, maybe just catch this ball and play the possession, let your teammate create a bit of chaos down on this end and look for some bumps on his way back, and then just control the ball and look to create some kind of play, because if you boom this ball away, or even worse, get like a really soft clear down the wall, like that's just going to end up being free for your opponents, which again is not what you want to do with your opportunities being limited. So catching the ball and taking time, definitely the best thing to do here to try to make the most of this opportunity. But instead, not only do we not catch the ball, but we don't even do two of those subpar options in either just banging it or getting a soft clear. No, instead we completely mess up whatever touch we're trying to go for, which, for the record, looking back on this, I don't even know what I was trying to do here. Like, I didn't let the ball bounce, so I don't know what I was going for. It really just looks bad. Overall, that's the best I can say. It looks bad. So that's reassuring. But we get this really terrible touch, and it is just completely out of panic. Because I don't know if we just didn't recognize the time, didn't recognize that we had a free ball, didn't recognize that the ball was actually settling fairly nicely for us. I don't know what was going through our head, and that's kind of the sign of a really bad habit, is going, what the heck was that? I have no idea, even though I've looked back on this 4 or 5 times at this point. So I have no clue what's going on here. We're just floating behind the ball, and oh yeah, our opponents, and this is going to look great from our opponent's perspective, I guarantee. Let's look at Sprinkle's perspective of this. Let's see what kind of show he's treated to. Oh boy, look at us struggle. You gotta really appreciate the struggle that you can just see as he's just sitting here. It's like, oh cool, well thanks for the free ball. And that is a completely free goal for them once again, because I squander an opportunity on the ball, hand it directly to our opponents, and leave my teammate in a 2v1 situation. So what you guys should take away from this is that bad habits almost always put yourself and your team in terrible spots on the field. All 4 goals from this game, and honestly the fact that we're stuck on 0, came from a simple bad habit that impacted our ability to make the best play that was available to us. So I highly encourage you guys to go look at your own replays and really keep an eye to see if any of these bad habits are popping up in your own games. Because if they are, these are issues that, if they are fixed, will help you take your game to a whole new level. Of course, thank you everybody so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below, so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, if you guys would like to be a bit more involved in the community we're building here, do feel free to check out my Discord, which will be linked down in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.